I announced my wife's infidelity during our town's 4th of July celebration. Hey there, Reddit. I've got a story for you that's been brewing for a while now, and I think it's finally time I share it. It's about the time I announced my wife's infidelity during our town's 4th of July celebration. I've been married to my wife Carol for almost 10 years. We were high school sweethearts and got married right after college. Things were great for a while, but eventually the spark started to fade. I tried to talk to her about it, but she always brushed it off or said it was normal for couples to have ups and downs. But last year, I noticed some things that were a bit off. She was suddenly glued to her phone and kept it on her at all times. She was going out with friends a lot more often, and whenever I'd try to tag along, she'd give me some excuse about it being a girls' night or something. One day, she left her phone on the kitchen counter while she was in the shower. What I found? Well, it was devastating. There were texts from some guy named Tim, and they were definitely not just friendly messages. They were talking about all the times they hooked up, how much they loved each other, and how they wished they could be together all the time. I was crushed and pissed. I did some digging and found out that Tim was a married man with kids. My wife wasn't just a cheater, she was a homewrecker too. I was furious, but I knew I couldn't just confront her. She'd just say something stupid or try to blame me, and nothing would change. You know how it works. If they ever go down that path, they're ruined. You might as well just count out the idea of healing and moving on. It will never be the same, so you just have to say fuck it and move on. That is why I decided I needed to do something drastic. I was going to get my revenge, and then I was going to get the hell out of there and start a new life. So I started looking for jobs in other states, and I found one that seemed perfect. It paid well and was right in my wheelhouse, and it would give me a fresh start far away from the mess my life had become. I didn't tell Carol, of course. I wanted to make sure I had everything lined up before I dropped the bomb. Now, every year, our town has a big 4th of July celebration. There's a parade, a carnival, and a massive fireworks show. The whole town turns out for it. What is really cool is that I had been the MC for this event for 3 years in a row. This was about to be my 4th and final year. I was in charge of introducing the various acts and making announcements throughout the day, culminating in the final announcement before the fireworks started. I realized this was the perfect opportunity to expose Carol and Tim's affair in the most public, humiliating way possible. I spent weeks planning my speech. I wanted it to be dramatic, shocking, and memorable. I wanted everyone in town to know exactly what Carol had done, so there would be no way for her to escape the consequences. But I also didn't want to come across as some bitter, vindictive jerk. I wanted people to understand why I was doing this. It was a delicate balance, but I think I managed to pull it off. Finally, the day arrived. I put on my best suit and headed to the event, my speech tucked securely in my pocket. I tried to act normal around Carol, but it was tough knowing that our entire lives were about to change. We went through the day, and I made my announcements as planned. Then, as the sun began to set, it was time for the big finale. I walked up to the podium, my heart pounding in my chest. I looked out at the sea of faces, my friends and neighbors, colleagues, and I took a deep breath. This was it. Ladies and gentlemen, I began. We've had a fantastic day celebrating our nation's independence. But before we light up the sky with our spectacular fireworks display, I have a personal announcement to make. I apologize for using this platform, but I feel it's necessary. I could see Carol in the front row, her face a mix of curiosity and concern. I took another deep breath and continued. I've been married to my wife, Carol, for 10 years now. We were high school sweethearts and got married right after college. I've always been faithful to her and loved her with all my heart. But not too long ago, I found out something that has shattered my world. I paused for dramatic effect, letting the gravity of the situation sink in. Then, I pulled out my phone and started reading the incriminating messages between Carol and Tim. Though I did not mention his name there. They were surely there in the crowd, and I did not want to embarrass his children. I could hear gasps and murmurs spreading through the crowd, but I didn't stop. After investigating, I discovered that this has been going on for over a year. Carol has been cheating on me with a married man, a man with children. She's not only betrayed me, but she's also destroyed another family in the process. By now, Carol was visibly distraught, her face red and tears streaming down her cheeks. But I wasn't done yet. I want all of you to know that I am leaving Carol. I have accepted a job in another state, and I will be starting a new life there without her. I am making this announcement today because I believe in the truth, and I believe that actions have consequences. The crowd was silent, hanging on my every word. I took one last look at Carol, who was sobbing uncontrollably, and then I turned my gaze to the sky. So as we watch these fireworks light up the night, let them also serve as a symbol of the end of one chapter and the beginning of a new one. Happy 4th of July, everyone. With that, I stepped away from the podium and walked off the stage. The fireworks started with a loud boom, their bright colors lighting up the faces of the stunned crowd. I didn't look back at Carol. I didn't need to. I knew that I had gotten my revenge and that my life was about to change for the better. I sent Tim's wife a message that evening. She thanks me for not stating her husband's name publicly, thus keeping her children sheltered from the embarrassment. She also thanked me for being brave enough to tell her about everything and for my epic speech. She was glad that my wife was destroyed. She said she would have loved to have been a part of that destruction. Nonetheless, it was done and it was very satisfying for her, knowing that her husband's mistress didn't get away with this. She said she was filing for divorce immediately and would be seeking full custody of the children. I wished her all the best and that was it. We have never spoken again. I told Carol that I had contacted Tim's wife. She begged and begged for me to stay and to start over with her. She told me how sorry she was. The way I see it, she was sorry for getting caught, not sorry for cheating or destroying another woman's family. I told her there was no way I could stay and that it would be best if she didn't fight me on this divorce. In the weeks that followed, I moved to my city and started my new job and started the process of rebuilding my life. I heard through the grapevine that Carol was now a pariah in our small town, her social status and credibility destroyed. It was sad, but I felt it was the price she had to pay for her betrayal. And so, that's my story. The day I announced my wife's infidelity during our town's 4th of July celebration. It was a crazy, emotional, and ultimately cathartic experience, and I'm glad I had the courage to stand up and tell the truth. In the end, I feel like I've grown stronger and learned valuable lessons about trust, love, and the importance of being true to yourself. To anyone out there dealing with infidelity or a similar situation, I hope my story can offer some comfort or inspiration. Remember that you deserve happiness, and sometimes the best way to find it is to take a stand and make a change. Thanks for reading, and happy Independence Day. Well, that one ended with a boom. What do you think of this one? Let us know in the comments below. When you subscribe, be sure to click the notification bell. Click here for more Tangled threads.